Space, the final frontier.
Welcome to the planet.
What kind of intro music was that? Anyway, welcome to Earth 2 Comic Cast, where superheroes exist and Star Trek Talk with the norm, Mr. Gordon Crosby. We're back for another episode of Picard, episode, what, 6? 6.
Yep.
The Impossible Box. I'm here again. Yeah, episode 6, The Impossible Box.
Episode 6 of Picard, the first episode of Star Trek I've seen in a long time.
You know what? Can I finish? Can I finish introducing the show? I mean, we will
bad.
get into your thoughts. Thank you very much. Anyways, I'm here, of course, with Anthony, who can't wait to get into this episode for some reason. Stephanie, newcomer to Earth 2, and Patrick. Everyone knows Patrick at this point, so. Yeah, so The Impossible Box is the title of this episode. Apparently, you can get the idea, you can get the feel from this cast that we kind of all liked it. So I'll just go into asking questions when Anthony decides to stop doing what he's doing. Stephanie,
I'm here. I'm paying attention.
What up?
the episode. Did you like it? What did you like about it? How did it feel to you? Because Anthony gave a very short feeling. It's the first Star Trek episode, in a long time. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree that the previous 5 episodes weren't Star Trek, but I do agree that this was a great episode. I think we finally found some cohesion and some story elements that were hanging, found traction, and we all know what direction we're going in now, and so I'm super here for it.
Fantastic. Patrick?
I agree with Stephanie.
Thanks, dude.
Wow, okay.
Well, that was
Okay.
insightful.
Anthony, you have more words for us?
Yeah. I just expect to hate these episodes at this point, or not really think they're just not my Star Trek. This one was directed well. There wasn't a lot of cringy dialogue. Anything I have to say about it, it's a real nitpick, not what y'all usually say is a nitpick. I enjoyed this episode. I thought there were some really deep cuts, and I felt like this might be some Star Trek.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It was after my feelings from the previous episode, my thoughts.
You said what?
It was very encouraging after, because as we all know, I really did not like episode 5.
It was redeeming for you.
I mean, yes, it was redeeming for me. I will continue to subscribe to CBS All Access for a little bit longer.
No, you need to, because if you stop, then I can't watch anymore.
What she needs is out that moral encouragement to watch. She can't watch her own subscription. Not that there is any sharing of licensing without.
We definitely don't share subscription. Yeah, we don't. Okay, so honestly, the episode opens up with a dream, and in most dream episodes, whenever there's a dream on the show, it's something someone is trying to awaken their subconscious, or someone is trying to find something out about themselves. So person in this episode who had the dream and had to find something by themselves is Soji.
Can I pause for a moment? For a moment?
Go ahead.
Because you just reminded me of something. What do you guys all think about, in particular, there's a puzzle piece sequence thing.
The Rubik's Cube helping them think.
Patrick stalled out on mine.
Yeah, Patrick really did kind of go on us.
Just a frozen little set of pixels.
I don't know. Never mind.
Does he know? Does he know he froze? Patrick,
I don't think he does. Patrick, do you know he froze?
No, he does not.
I think he does.
I wonder what we look like to him. Does he think we're all patiently listening without interruption? Has he not paying attention? I live to interrupt. It's my jam.
No, okay.
Okay, go ahead, Ma.
I would like to think Patrick was asking about the Rubik's Cube. I was actually going to get to that, but I wanted to ask how you felt about. Oh, okay, you're back.
Are you back, Patrick? Did you know you were gone?
Guess he's not back. I was going to ask how you
This
guys
is
felt
thoughtful,
about
Patrick.
those.
You were acting creepy, man.
This is where we find out Patrick's actually a Cylon. It's just been active.
Right.
He was frozen, except his eyes moved. Are you back? Patrick, can you hear?
Okay, let me go ahead.
I can hear you. I've heard everything. I've just apparently.
Nope, there he goes.
Nope.
No, you're in and out, Patrick. I don't think you understand how this is working for you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sometimes.
Coronavirus.
No.
Okay, let me ask the question. Let you guys answer it. When Patrick comes out, ask the question again. What did you think about Soji's story? Because one of the things that we said on the show, or you said on the group chat, is what the hell are they doing with Soji? What's going on with Soji and Narek? Like, what's that about? Now that you found, like, what did you think of Soji's story in this episode? Because I think she, just like Picard, had a lot to do in this episode.
So, Stephanie.
I like I said, like I care now. I don't think we've necessarily learned anything unique or like mind blowing about Soji, but she's on the map now. Like I was kind of thinking about it and kind of felt like if we just knew that Soji existed but didn't see her until Picard got to the cube, that probably would have been a better narrative. But we knew she existed, so they felt like they had to do something with her. But this is the episode where she started to matter, and so. While we don't know what specifically her mission is, or like she seems to not be programmed exactly the same way as Daj, like we know that like time is turning for her, and she has questions, and she understands that things aren't right. So I'm intrigued. I want to see what happens next.
All right, Anthony.
I think this is the first time we've been on the Borg cube where I wasn't bored. I think there's been. I don't think she's been in every episode, but the episode she's on is like a third of the episode that just has been. Why are we here? Like, yeah, sliding down the hall. This isn't romantic. I know what you're going for. I think that if maybe we didn't know what she was, this would have been a better reveal. But it's kind of like we already knew this stuff, so the reveal of her didn't really have any kind of impact. For me, I can't speak for anybody else, but I was just like, okay, like we've been here before, and where Dodge got it in a relatively short time, it just felt like agonizingly like drawn out with her. The dream thing I was excited about for a minute because it was a big episode for Data's development in TNG when he first began to dream, and I think that's probably the first time we saw Dr. Soon, like a young Dr. Soon. I could be mistaken though, but so I was expecting to see some like surreal stuff going on, like Data's dream, like maybe the Raven would show back up. If y'all don't remember the episode, like Data keeps thinking of her seeing a Raven and a blacksmith building a Raven wing, and not sure if it's a dream or it's an implanted suggestion that he's talking to Dr. Soon. And he's like, why'd you give me the ability to dream? Because I didn't think Soon's like, I didn't think you would make it this far. You're the Raven, Data. You're the Raven. So I thought some real meaty story with her. No, we got an action scene again. So I'm happy to see where this goes. Because she had something interesting where it didn't make sense that she knew about the Borg Queen stuff, right? When she went to the Borg room and she like finished Hugh's sentence, and I was like, oh, maybe she's just not an android. Maybe she's programmed with Borg Queen stuff. I don't know, but
wouldn't she
story
have?
Might get better, huh?
Wouldn't she? If she has Data's knowledge, then she would know about Queen stuff.
But remember that chamber wasn't finished. That chamber wasn't finished.
Right, so she wouldn't know like the new technology, but she'd be able to identify a Queen's den because Data was in one.
You know what? Maybe. No, because he was only on an Enterprise. He was on an Enterprise converted ship, right? He was never on a Borg cube. Like he wasn't in the Borg Queen chamber.
Yeah.
Right. I think he's been on a Borg cube, but we never seen him in a Borg Queen chamber. Right. And we also don't know. So, as I've complained a little bit about this Star Trek magic, I mean, the science magic isn't based on anything. So I don't really know how cloning positronic, like I don't know how you would clone a bite. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how that works. So So she could have access to memories, and we don't know what Data has known all these years, right? We don't know if he accessed them. We just don't know. So there could be story there. I'm just glad we're off the cube, if I'm honest with her. Like, I'm much more interested to see how. I've rambled, but I'm much more interested to see how Hugh goes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm much more interested in how this goes with Hugh, because I've loved Hugh this episode. Like,
he was a highlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, matter of fact, I was actually getting ready to talk about that or ask about that. So Hugh is on this episode like a lot with Picard. But before we get to Hugh, can we talk about PTSD real quick?
Yeah.
By the way, can you guys hear me okay?
Oh yeah, hi Patrick.
Yes.
Welcome.
I'm like, oh my God, you're back.
It's crazy. I upgraded my internet and it's worse. I don't know what's going
Capitalism.
on, but I had the case so that I can be clear. I was trying to say, we were talking about puzzles, and I was trying to say, it's interesting how in the opening credits, it looks like there's some sort of puzzle going on with like Picard's face kind of coming together. So
right.
I wondered if Picard was a synth at first. He's being put together like a synth. But obviously that's just like a wild thought that pops in your head.
Synth, and I thought you said Sith. Star Wars.
Same thing.
Hey, you know what? Now that you mention it, I guess her being like a doll on the table is kind of like Data being built like a raven on an anvil, kind of, just not as.
It's a vague callback.
Right. It's it's not as.
Oh no.
Well written, but maybe it was, but yeah.
All right, Patrick. The question I asked before you dropped off was Soji's story. What do you think about it? Do you care? Was it interesting enough to you in this episode? Did it matter? You okay with it?
I think it. Well, I mean, there's nothing there yet, but I'm excited. Kind of what Anthony was just saying. I'm excited to see what's going forward and seeing Soji interact. Seeing of our crew, and also I liked how everything was revealed. I mean, I disagree a little bit with Anthony about how it was a bit of a tedious reveal, just because I thought that using a labyrinth is the way that Romulans kind of reveal things or meditate. I thought was really interesting, and it was kind of fun to watch how that worked out. I mean, I know said her like she was actually going to die or anything, so I guess there's that, but. Yeah, I enjoyed her more. Also, the fact that she did some problem solving on her own. She took her own initiative, right? All those sorts of things gave her. Her character just became a slightly more interesting character. She's still a little bit of a blank slate, but I'm excited. I mean, I'm curious what that will mean. It's not like Picard was hanging out with Daj that long, so he didn't know her that well. So.
No, I want to clarify. I like the mind maze. I use that in therapy. Like, I use that in therapy with clients. Like, I thought that was amazing how you can walk back, except I use a path in a house. I'm saying that the reveal throughout the 6 episodes when she gets it's right. That's what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Right.
I think what's interesting about that scene isn't that you're supposed to have weight for Soji's reveal. The weight is in Narek being there, and you know what he's actually doing. So it's a different kind of. It's like you're more interested in what he's going to do in response to her being activated rather than her learning.
How happy are
did you feel anxious about
separated?
I don't know what Patrick just said, but yeah, I felt anxious about that.
He said, "How happy are you that they're separated now?"
So I hated the first 2 scenes with him, but I felt like as soon as they got into that meditation room, he was finally a spy. I finally felt like he was doing what his job was, and he was good at it. Like, he was good at manipulating her, and he was good at getting her to, go back into her dream and see what she previously hadn't seen. So if he operates in that capacity, he can be in as many episodes as he wants. But him crying outside of the meditation room as he's killing her, done with that.
That's what I'm trying to say. Now he can just be the character we know he's supposed to be.
But Romulan spy who can just murder somebody in front of somebody and it not be questioned, I'm into that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but I think we're gonna get that Zuko. We're gonna get the Zuko story arc where he chases her around until he
Probably.
realizes that he needs to be a part of our team. And we
Romulan
take on by an
Zuko.
evil, more competent sister. He is Zuko. All he needs is a scar on his face.
He needs a grandfather.
Yeah. Oh, yes. It's like,
Okay.
I liked him more. Good point. I liked him better this episode. I think this is the first episode I was like, I'm with it.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Agreed.
with it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, we agreed on something. Like,
Wow.
oh my God.
This is like
Not
the Twilight
today's
Zone Star Trek podcast. This is the most Twilight Zone Star Trek podcast we've ever done. There's never been an episode where we agree on more than one thing. Anyways, moving on. PTSD. Patrick, I'll let you go first. Can we talk about Picard's PTSD?
Yeah, I mean,
I thought that was the better part. Like you guys keep saying, I thought
it's
that's
well
the better part of the
handled.
episode.
There's obviously that amazing scene where he's looking through the like digital image of himself as the
and then
cutest,
he like,
and,
and then he goes, yeah.
it's
I
overlaid
love
on top of itself. That's definitely an amazing. You know what's funny is this team, and I looked into them. That this team of writer and director were definitely more beat team than the previous episodes. Like they're lesser known. I think the writer has like been a backup writer or something for a bunch of people,
You're
but
like
never
really
even
the
done a
only
lead.
one that looks into that stuff, and I
I
appreciate
know.
it.
And this episode I think is the best episode by far. So I you know, hats off to them. I hope they get more episodes. But yeah, I thought the PTSD. I mean, I'm not. You got like a counselor and a professional psychiatrist or whatever on here, so I'm probably the wrong person to ask this question. But
I just want to ask how you felt.
yeah.
You know, like how it felt to you, like when he was talking to Elron.
Yeah.
Elrond.
Yeah, Elron and what's her name, and they were talking, and she was like, "Oh man, you know, this is different. The Borg feels different. Like the Q feels different. Maybe it's changed."
The best
And
line
he
by
just-
far, best line of the whole show by far was when Picard said something along the lines of, "You recognize that the Borg are not monsters, but they are victims." That was, in my opinion, that's an important paradigm shift of the Star Trek universe moving forward in a new way.
Yes.
Well, for
yes.
JL too, it's a moment of self-realization.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
were doing so well.
You and I,
JL was so great.
We were doing so well. Yeah.
just you don't be the problem, Anthony. Don't be the problem.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Oh my gosh. I had to sit
You know what,
in the bar 2 days
Stephanie,
ago.
what do you think? How do you think about the?
Star Wars?
So Stephanie, how do you think about? What did you think about the whole like Picard's whole arc of this episode? Like him, you know, because the point I was trying to make was when he was talking to Doctor and Elron, and she said to him, she was like Agnes, and she said to him, you know, they might, you know, this cube feels different. It's away from the collective. They might be changed, and he just comes out there and almost attacks her in a way like they don't change. You know, they just they metastasize, and he used that line on her, and I thought like that was just the beginning. To me, that was the beginning of this. What I thought was going to be like this whole slope down, like he was just going to go through the downward slope, but then he gave the line Patrick said. So I really like that. So to my point, to the question I'm really trying to ask is, how did you feel they handled all of it for JL?
I loved it. I thought it was a great. No, you your face. Stop making faces. I like it was really emotional. It was really. I thought it was emotionally engaging. Like I felt like we were feeling with JL, like when he was lost, confused. Like I was confused to the point where when those Borg hold him so that he doesn't go off of the edge, like I was confused of are these Borg real Borg or are these Borg from his nightmares? Like I think they did a really good job of making us right there in the moment with JL, and I really like that transition from immediate like reactionary defensiveness when he's talking to Agnes versus like seeing the value of the work that Hugh has been doing and like being like I felt like it was just a little bit healing for him to see like these people can be they can be brought back, they can be rejuvenated, they can be reintegrated into society, and I think that was a balm to him after so many years of grappling with things he can't talk to anyone about.
Right. Anthony?
So I'm a co-sign on all that, right? I think
Wow.
that scene was a great way to depict somebody that was in crisis, right? Because we're seeing what not actually what was reality, but was real to him. And so they try because and if an audience member, you're not sure if some Borg had woken up, and because he's on board, um, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? And then his demeanor and his mannerisms changed to being more comfortable around ex-Borg than we've seen him throughout this series, which I found very interesting. When he hugged Hugh, like
Yeah.
that was one of the best. Like and to see what he was doing, and I know I've said before that I don't really because like movie Picard isn't necessarily Picard we knew from TNG. I've said it a lot, but one thing I did like was the moving on with his trauma in First Contact, and I thought that First Contact was kind of like confronting your abuser, your attacker, and he did that in that with even destroying the Borg Queen or damaging the Borg Queen or however you want to go with the multi-dimensional thing with the Borg Queen. But that's not the end of it, right? So a lot of people think that that's the end of it. I confronted my contact, I take my power back, and that's it. No, there's a long process of healing after that. And with his particular issue or challenge, he doesn't have a lot of places to get that closure. And seeing Seven of Nine, and helping Seven of Nine with that one bit of dialogue, which I thought was the best part of that. It wasn't last episode, was it? Was it the episode before that?
Yeah.
It was last episode.
It was last episode, yeah.
When they were talking about, did you get your humanity back? He's like, yes. And she's like, all of it? No. And he was like, we fight every day for it. That was the best part of writing, best writing in that episode to me. And so to continue on with that, seeing him comfortable around Hugh, seeing him comfortable around these ex-Borg, and him seeing like, yeah, this is great work. This is great. Well, it's not 100%. You're doing something. You know what I mean? I love that. And I thought they were going to drop the Locutus thing a lot earlier, but they didn't. It was in passing when they were running out the cube. One random Borg was like Locutus, so I'm really interested. And I thought that.
Wait, did that really happen?
Yes, it did.
I
Yeah,
thought
it
that
really-
was a flashback.
No, it happened while he was on there.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought this was almost the series I wanted to see. You know what I mean? This part here, I was down for. I'm not trying to make a dig. I'm saying that whoever wrote this, they weren't the main people that are writing these other episodes. I don't know.
Of course, Patrick.
Their camera work was awesome. The mood they set was awesome. Even the characters we said we didn't even cared about in this 6th episode. So they need to promote those people, and because I think they would do a lot for healing the fan base that's going on with Star Trek right now. That's one thing I had to say. Nah,
Can you hold on for a second? Yeah, hold on. Great, thank you. Moving on. Next character I want to talk about is, and this is going to be like a really short one, is Rafi. Did you like anything they did with Rafi this episode? I mean, because I know Anthony, I can start with you because you've not liked a lot of what they've done with Rafi. So this episode,
I'm not sure who. It seems very tone deaf to me that they put they pretty much gave the crackhead role to a crackhead single mom, let down parent to a black woman, and I feel like. And I say there's nothing about the actress, right? I think the actress is working with the material she's given. I'm just not down for it. I think it was so tone deaf. I mean, you've already put like all these other things into like a society that I didn't like, the Starfleet Society I didn't really, or Federation Society I didn't like, but to put that into the black, I don't know. I am biased. I can't really speak besides, but it gives me a.
I get what you're saying. I 100% get what you're saying. All right, Stephanie.
Yeah, pretty similar to Anthony. I think it's unfortunate that they chose that line. However, I don't know the name of the actress, but I think she's phenomenal as somebody who works with people who code switch depending on who they can be around and when they're performing versus when they're just being them actual selves. I think that actress did a phenomenal job of being miserable and drunk and just flipping that switch so she could perform to get what her friends needed from her, and then going back to her destructive habits, which again, it's so unfortunate that they chose that route for Raffi, but that actress is spot on. She did that very well. And I also really liked the development between Raffi and Rios, right, where they dove in a little bit about how they've been friends for so long, and yet, Rios, you don't know all this stuff about me. Like, I appreciated giving more context to why would Rios agree to this ridiculous adventure, because we haven't gotten any of that information yet.
Oh,
Right.
Stephanie, did you see after
Patrick.
Wait, no,
Yeah.
hold on. I want to see what Stephanie thought about something. Did you see when she hung up with her friend, as a friend, don't call me anymore, and Picard's praising her, but you can tell in her face.
Oh, it was rude. That was a slap in the face.
Yeah,
Total slap in the face.
That was
absolutely.
100% trash. I hated it.
Yeah, it's like it's not only are they using her, they're celebrating the fact that they're using her, and they have no idea what the personal cost is. So
Right.
they're not aware of the physical cost that it takes her to code switch. They're not aware of the emotional exhaustion code switching takes. And then to be willing for her to dispense a very powerful ally, right? We see that this friend could do a lot for Raffi, and they're willing to throw it on Picard. Not that this mission isn't necessarily important, but no one asked Raffi, like, are you willing to give up this contact for me? She's in true addict style, she's herded towards what the people in her life want from her, and she doesn't have a lot of agency for it.
Right, exactly. And I felt
You know what I also think, though? To add to that, I also think it's... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll talk a lot.
But I also think it's very reminiscent. Exactly, the whole thing that happened in that scene where she, like you said, code switched to get what she needed, and when she was done, she got praised for it. That is very reminiscent to what happens a lot in real life, where people don't know what you're going through, and it's like, oh, well, you just did great, and it's like, the fuck, like, with her example, I just lost a good friend. She may have been like one of Rafi's like only real friends since whatever happened to Rafi happened. And then Picard should, in my opinion, I just felt like it was very that's the most un-Picard I've felt in this whole with JL.
He's totally celebrating lying and deceiving and blackmailing. Like I think
it's because Picard is out of his. He's never had to operate quite like this before, where he's essentially outside the bounds of the law. At times, he's acted a little bit like, an admiral will be like, don't do this, and he's like, nope, I'm doing it because it's the right thing. But this is like a completely different place for him to be, where he is purposely kind of going against the Federation with no resources and everything. And so he's so used to being able to just call on his crew to like do things sacrificially because they kind of see the greater cause, that I don't think he really understands that I think one of the things they're doing with Picard is he does not understand right now that he is not currently the captain on the bridge of a starship.
See,
he is acting at times.
I think so. I don't disagree with that. I think that in that moment, Picard was kind of like an emotional vampire or something. Like he was fulfilling all the needs at the expense of hers. And I think that we have seen Picard, even though he's not as comfortable with casual relationships in the old era of Star Trek, he still could like look at a crew member and be like, this person needs this at this moment, right? Even if I can't provide it for it, I can. There's somebody here that can.
And that's why I said this is the most un-JL I felt. And
right now,
you said you felt like he's not your JL. This is the most like, oh God, this is not JL to me. He's not JL. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna stop. Stephanie started it.
True.
But I felt like, and part of me wondered if old Raffi would appreciate that encouragement, and Picard can't see the struggle she's in now. Sometimes we have a habit of seeing the person that we've known, right? The image of somebody, and not seeing the trouble they're in.
Couldn't that also be, though, Anthony, that Picard can't see that their relationship is different than it was when it was a professional relationship?
100%.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot of layers to it. I think initially the shock of it is like, oh wow, this just happened. But you're right. There's so many layers to it. Like Patrick just said and Anthony just said. So I don't think I can disagree with anything. Patrick, do you have anything to add to Raffi? before we move on?
No, just that. I mean, I understand where Anthony's coming from, and that is a real shame. I do find her one of the most interesting characters, though, right now, as of this episode, and so maybe just one of the best actresses. Maybe that's
And
just
let
what
me
it is. She's
preface
an actor
this. For
well.
all I know, for all I know, the actress was like, "I want that role. That role is something I can sink my teeth into." That for all I know. So I don't want it to come off like, you know what
No,
I mean?
I totally hear what you're
No,
saying. I
no,
agree.
no. No, we're not saying that. We get it. I mean, you might want to tell people who are watching, if they don't get it. All right, moving on. Agnes, she's dealing.
but not right now.
No, because I think Patrick put us on a time limit, and so I have to hit all the notes real quick. Agnes. Okay, so she's dealing with it, and I think one of the best moments on the episode between Agnes and anyone was Agnes and Elron, where he asked her if he was inbutting.
One of the best moments of the episode is the booty call. Is that what you're saying?
No. One of the best moments with Agnes and anyone, between Agnes and anyone, was Agnes and Elron, where he goes, "Am I in?" But I don't care about the booty call. That's stupid. I should have, in my opinion, she doesn't deserve that. But anyways,
no, I have something to say about that booty call when we get to
it.
We'll start with Patrick because he didn't really go the last one. Patrick, Agnes, what do you think?
Agnes? Well, I mean, you guys saw I sent an angry message because Picard was giving her, "Oh, I'm so sorry," kind of being a good, loving captain. When she killed that man, she killed him, and I was like, Picard, don't fall for her. Don't fall for her doe eyes. She just killed a man.
Did.
He does not deserve
this Picard is very easily fooled.
Good
this Picard, this show was very easily fooled.
This is not JL.
I don't blame him for being
so let's just.
That's the case, Anthony. But I'm so angry at her right from the start of the episode, especially when I didn't. And I'm just like, Picard, she don't deserve your love. She don't deserve it. You just walk away, Picard.
Stephanie.
So first I want to say that I think maybe Jean-Luc can't pick up on that is because I think her grief is genuine. Like, I really hold to what I said in the last episode that she killed him. She killed him out of necessity.
She still don't deserve his love.
All right, Patrick, settle down.
Patrick is just angry. He's just so mad that the one character.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that I still have hope that Agnes doing that is going to become. Like, we're going to understand why, and we're going to agree that she should have done it. Like, I'm still holding out hope that our minds will be changed on that point. And I still don't think she did it maliciously the way that you interpreted it last episode. I really think she did it out of desperation. So, that aside, I loved her and Elron, like, super funny. I totally can see Rios being this, like, like he's a hotshot pilot. He probably gets girls, whatever. Was not into it. Like, previous episode, I was like, yeah, Agnes and Rios. Like, but I wanted that slow burn, not this, I'm guilty and full of grief, and so I'm going to take it out with sexual frustration. It's not what I wanted, and I'm not here for it, and it's dumb. So, wasted opportunity. Yeah. And I wanted Rios to be better than that. Not that you can't, like, have casual sex. Like, I'm not trying to see that that's not a game to go to, but like, I wanted him to be good enough to see that she was emotionally compromised and not be willing to go there with her until she was on some more stable footing.
Maybe that wasn't even the real Rios.
No, he
that could have been a hologram.
He looked, his hologram, man. Emergency casual sex program. And it's
the entertainment architect. What was that one?
Okay, Anthony.
But Star Trek Han Solo was like, I gotta do something tonight. Like, it was kind of like, all right.
I'm bored.
Coming out your nose and whatnot. Your dead lovers. Your dead lovers in the next room. He just died like a couple hours ago. Let's go. So this is what I would say about that. And I think this was pretty trope writing of the distraught woman that just went through something, and the first thing she wants to do is screw the hot guy near her. Everybody remember the first of the. Who's the current James Bond? Daniel Craig. Yeah. So everybody see Casino Royale?
Yeah,
Royale, his first.
So many times.
Okay, now.
Yeah.
All right, there's a scene where the love interest of it gets into a brutal altercation with somebody, and the director wanted her to be in the shower in her underwear, and James
Oh,
Bond
I
just
know
cut,
the
just
scene.
right,
And he
just
goes in
got
the shower
so.
and he just holds
Right.
her.
Daniel Craig said she wouldn't be in her underwear naked. She just got assaulted. She's in her dress. So he argued to have her in her dress. And he goes in there with his clothes on. They hug. And then you can tell the way they shot it is they didn't have sex that night. He comforted her, made sure she was okay. She's laying in her bed to get, when she finally gets to sleep. There was a lot of things in that movie that were like really I really feel this scene because he's not opportunistic. He's not hard up for sex. He's not conquesting anything. He actually comforts somebody, and then not to say people don't use sex to process emotions. I'm not saying they don't, but I just thought it was a more powerful scene. And when I'm watching this booty call thing go through, it just reminded me of how less this was. Like it was meh.
Question, to everybody real quick. So we see them kiss and go off screen, right? What if? It probably didn't go down this way, but what if, right? They get in the room and Rios is like, you know what, this doesn't feel right.
They're gonna have to do a lot of like intentional storytelling
Right,
to reveal that.
I know.
And it's possible, but like it's so clearly coded that they hooked up, and especially when that later that day, Elron is like, the tension between you makes me uncomfortable. Like they didn't have to reinforce the tension that they're feeling unless they meant it. And I don't know. I mean,
if he turned her down, down for sex, we'd have known. It'd have been a conversation or something
for sure.
in there.
Yeah.
And he didn't seem into it. It was more like, I'm gonna throw you one. I ain't doing nothing else. Yeah. I'm gonna drink and talk to hologram selves. Yeah. All right.
All right. Real quick, and last but not least, Elron, which I really enjoyed in this episode. I think Patrick had said in the chat this was the first time he puts in me into his character. I enjoyed it. I really kind of liked what they did with him. Again, I think because he's naive and because he grew up with women and because of his religion, they're gonna use him a lot as the funny, like this tension breaker.
Fish out of water.
Yeah, they're gonna use him a lot as
He's
that.
The clueless character.
Exactly. But what did you guys think about what they did with him in this episode?
Which part?
Anyway,
why did he have to stay?
Made no sense.
What?
Hold on. Has anyone seen
like? And I
Stephanie, I know you don't watch the. I know you don't watch the previews for the next episode.
They must get him out somehow.
Of course. But
It made no sense. He can pop up anytime. Like, I'm gonna fight off the people that aren't there when you get into a teleporter to go. Like, why do you need to stay, homeboy?
Right, and you can tell when the writers figured that out because right after like Picard leaves, Q says something like, "I need a few minutes to lock up this room so they don't discover it or get
right." So they can't trace the call.
Right, you guys figured that out after you wrote this scene. Is like, wait, why did he stay?
If it had been like Hugh is now compromised, I'm worried for his safety, and Elron was like,
that's how I originally thought it was. Yeah,
I would have been fine with that. But Hugh did not call for help. He did not signal that he was in danger. Like, it's just.
You don't think Picard's gonna need your help with some planet by himself? Like, with
how much does your oath mean?
Sounds like Anthony right now. I'm very confused.
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
It was just such an exciting moment in the chat as I was live reacting. I was like, "Oh no, Elron!" And then I was like, "Oh yes, Elron!" And then I was like, "No, Elron!"
Right? Like,
that seriously was exciting. The range of emotions was so amazing. I loved it.
Right,
we looked around the ship and we're like, "Where's Elron? Oh no, Elron! Oh yes!" And then I liked it. But I'm with everyone. I don't understand the. I thought when in my mind I'm watching the episode, I'm like, okay, so he's gonna as soon as they go, he's gonna go right behind them and Hugh's gonna lock up and do whatever. But no,
it felt like they were just trying to give him something to do, and
they're trying to give him more to do. Yeah, right.
Right, and I know people complained about how to get on the ship without nobody noticing. That they mentioned how there was only a small window to beam over through the shields and stuff like that. the door closing with Hugh in the hallway, and you hear like you choose to live. They have disruptors. They have ranged weapons, and you're not a Jedi. Like you
Oh
know.
yeah, you hate that line, right?
I don't necessarily hate
Yes,
the
you do.
line. I hate.
Anthony's
Dude.
issue is what happens if the disruptor hits the sword? Then what?
Yeah,
What?
like you're in a
It's a
hallway. You're in a
saber.
hallway with a sword.
It's gonna
You're in a
deflect.
hallway
Becomes
with
a
a sword.
+1 magic weapon.
Oh, that might better.
He's a fucking space ninja. Are you kidding me?
I assume they're gonna tout out that these Romulans have access to like Vulcan telepathy and stuff. Because besides that, I'm not sure how this. Well, he was fighting other Romulans. I don't get this. I do not get this. You don't want to be in a straight hall with rifles pointed at you, and not
No,
only,
you
not only
don't.
that, you say you don't just attack them because before he dropped out, he did the snake eyes thing and dropped off from the ceiling. I was like, all right, that makes sense. He's an assassin, thing like that. But imagine he's in the hallway. The Romulan soldiers are coming down the hallway, and he goes, "Please, friends, choose to live." Like, and assumingly, and presumably, this religion monk set is well known. They should just shoot him. I hope. Yeah, I'm never gonna see it. It just threw me off. The whole thing with him after he stayed just threw me off, and that was my one major nitpick of the whole episode. Besides how they tried to kill an android with gas.
Yeah, that was weird.
Well,
Yeah, you know she can
That was
activate.
weird.
we don't know how much of her is. Well, we don't know what the gas is, and we don't know how she works.
We know it's slow. We know it's slow, and
Oh,
and
yeah.
she might
Fuck.
activate.
Oh my god. I'm
Well,
like,
I mean, I
But
wonder
maybe
how
that's
much of
why. Maybe they were worried about her activating.
Maybe he didn't want to really kill her. But
No,
seemed
that's
like he
so.
tried
That's
to
what I
kill her.
think
Maybe that-
happened. Is I think Derek actually caught some feelings, and so he did something that might work, but had a reasonable chance of her getting out.
he did give her her real. Didn't he give her his real name? His
Look,
true
she
Well,
name?
got
he gave
called.
him.
I haven't given.
He gave her a name. We don't have to confirm that that's his real second name.
Oh,
we
right,
know
right.
we know Data has studied multiple techniques, and I guess maybe that was cloned in his dog. So maybe she put it down.
Listen. I'm like,
my sister's
so
never
I'm
done
watching
this to
that
me.
happen. I'm watching that happen. I'm like, okay, so what's gonna happen is, she's gonna try to punch through and she can't, and then Picard and they'll save her. No, she actually punched through the whole. I'm like, how like what kind of slow ass acting gas is this? Like, it fills the room. Did the gas
got
not fill the room?
It could have at least started to burn her face off or
Right.
Something.
But I think he had to put a show on so that his incestuous sister would get off his back.
Oh yeah. Can we talk about his sister for a second?
Wait. I imagine the big guard is sitting there like, "Hey man, you want me to shoot her? No, the gas will get it. I mean, she punches through the floor. You want me to just open the door and shoot her? No.
Because I mean, he did ask. He did ask. Can I go? Like,
Can I just say one thing?
Ask, though. When she was punching, he was like, "Yo,
He was like, was this part of your plan?"
He's like, no, it's dangerous. You don't want to go in there.
I got a gun. I'll shoot her. Then we can go.
Right? We went from competent spy to idiot again. Like, what happened?
Patrick, you wanted to say something?
Oh, I just wanted to say I enjoyed this episode. I like this episode, but the puzzle box trope is a bit much for me. Or it just wasn't. I don't know. Of all the things in this episode, I loved the labyrinth, but the puzzle box and of course there's
James Bond.
I like the play with a Jenga box or whatever, a Rubik's cube, and then it does the fun little wheeling around, and then it unlocks, and I was just like,
Are you
I get it.
Boxes?
No, I'm not hating on puzzle boxes. I sell puzzle boxes. I just thought that it was a little too on the nose for me personally.
Let me show you how intelligent I am because I sell.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
For relaxation.
All right. Thank you very much.
Wait. So does anybody ever get a poor man's River Tam from her?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I thought of Dodge.
First episode, remember?
Okay.
I said in the first episode, I thought Dahl was essentially River, and that's why I was so surprised when Dahl died, because I was like, "This is essentially they're just ripping off they're just ripping off of Firefly. This show is
what I
just
think about this whole crew. That's what I think about this whole
and then
crew.
she dies.
But then we find out that she had that twin, so MacGuffin. Anyways, thank you guys. That's the end of the episode. That's the end of the cast. I would want to talk about the previews, but Stephanie doesn't watch them, so I don't want to.
You can do it. It's fine. We don't watch them because my husband is a big stickler for spoilers. I would watch him if he wasn't in the room. So
Okay.
you're fine.
Did anyone watch them? Anyone want to talk about them? No. Yes. Yes. No. Anyway. They get to this planet, and
Patrick has a face.
Oh, shit.
Go ahead, Patrick. Go ahead. Oh wait.
Oh no, he has a face but not a voice.
As long as he doesn't
Anyway,
think with his eye.
we're
again,
not
I'm
going to
I'll
talk
say
about
this. No, all I wanted to say is
Okay.
it makes sense to me. The planet that they're going to is Riker's planet. Like, it makes sense.
Wait.
Okay.
Oh, so
And that's it.
Riker's the next
And that's what we're
episode.
talking about.
Because they're rendezvousing, and Riker's in the next episode. It makes sense because in the moment, Picard has to think of a planet. Where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? Right?
Right.
Makes sense.
That makes sense.
Oh,
So
wait, did anybody get where they got the cut of where the Borg got that new technology from? The new teleportation technology? Did anybody get that?
Stargate.
No.
What?
the
He
Voyager.
said it, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
I
it was
thought
from
you
a
said
Voyager. It was from a Voyager episode where the Voyager meets this planet when they have super transporter technology, and they're like, "Yeah, we can't give it to y'all. Y'all too primitive. We have a prime directive type
Y'all
of
too
thing."
primitive.
And I was like, "Oh, damn, they got assimilated."
Isn't it a Voyager episode, or is there an Enterprise episode where they encounter that? And I'm like, what in the world is this showing up in Enterprise? And it's so powerful.
Enterprise had a lot of stuff that showed up. That didn't make any sense.
You know what?
But,
We're not gonna. That's not what we're doing here. We're not doing that today, Anthony.
I mean, apparently it's the worst Star Trek ever, according to the websites that be pandering to Discovery. How do you feel
I don't know
about
what
that,
website. I don't know what website you got that from, but that information is wrong. Okay, moving on. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for coming. Again, Stephanie, thank you so much for making the time. Anthony, thank you for finally getting here. Patrick, technical difficulties aside, appreciate you being here.
2 hours late to every cast. So throw shade when I'm 2 minutes late. 10 minutes late.
I know. What I've learned is you gotta make sure Stephanie's on the cast and Mo is on time.
Right? I ain't never. I see how it is. The white folks show up. I'm trying.
I feel like we're having so much fun on this one because like the episode was good and everyone liked it.
Yeah,
Anthony and I aren't disagreeing with each other.
Right, because the episode was good. Like Mo just said, the episode was good, so we can all enjoy it.
Oh my goodness.
Not
As much as I don't want to be that guy, but like I can't wait till we get to another episode where like we get this. But so far so good. I love the episode. You get that from everyone loves everything. Possible Box is into the episode. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening, and we will catch you on the next one. Good night.
Good night.